Yes.
Okay.
Welcome to Housing Debrief, episode 26. Is that right?
I have no idea.
Smokes. I have no idea. My director, producer / wife, mother of many, just said she helps me out. She told me 30-minute call. I was like, oh boy, we're getting all technical here. Anyway, go ahead. Let's introduce the dog and my daughter, our daughter,
Hi.
known as Sunny or Athena.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Luna, who all of a sudden has decided when she sees people that she's going to pee. Brand new. Anyway, I don't need to mention that. Is that what you said? Thank you for your honesty. All right. So, my background, quantitative economics, decision sciences major, UC San Diego, 29 years in the business, Orange County native, Capo Valley High School grad, 9 kids, avid runner. You just saw one. And we have a dog. Big one. She wears all pink and I walk her. Yeah, that's a fun sight. I'm 6'4". I brought 6. My wife brought 2. I adopted hers. She adopted mine. That little girl had a birthday on Monday. She is 12. We had bonus guy Zeke, and we have a dog. That's how it goes. Speaking of one of the kids, so I shave the old-fashioned way with a razor, and he wants to shave with me. So I shave him, but I shave on the back side of the razor so it doesn't get him, but he thinks I'm really shaving him. And this is a morning ritual that we do every once in a while when he's around while I'm shaving. He's a lot of fun. That is Zeke Dicky Doo. And I've been all over the place as far as press is concerned. My company's Reports on Housing. It's your local real estate snapshot. So most reports read like the rear of your mirror. I didn't include the closed sales. I'll do it on Tuesday. Just that's not what I wanted to talk about. However, I looked at closed sales for the month of May. Not good. So that's why. Who really cares what was in the rear of your mirror? Last month was a reflection of March and April. How did March and April look? Not very incredible. And that's because our society came to a screeching halt. So expect the news to be negative regarding closed sales data for the month of May. Now, June's a different story because we've seen a ramp up in demand. So June's going to look a little bit different. July is going to look way different. So I'm interested to see what the numbers start looking like come about a month from now, and then 2 months from now for the month of July. But I really don't care about that much about rear view mirror driving, because I want to set my sights in the future. I want to see what's going on right now, active listing inventory, and then demand. That's inventory, supply. Demand is pending sales. I look at pending sales, not closed sales, because pending sales will tell me how many contracts are being written right now. That'll give me the velocity of what's going on in the streets. Closed sales gives me a velocity of what was in the streets in the past. That's why I don't follow it. I follow pending sales data, because that gives me a current velocity of how fast the housing market is moving right now today. So it's all about setting expectations for buyers, sellers, for all of us, for agents. We look at the data, it kind of reflects what we're thinking. So then I bring it in the form of a report. And I have a report for each of these counties: LA, Orange County, Riverside, San Bernardino, and San Diego. This week was Riverside and San Bernardino's report. I'm crunching the numbers actually today. And this is for San Bernardino. The numbers were from yesterday, and they're for LA, Orange County, and San Diego. The last report that came out was hotter than last year. San Bernardino, Riverside County got theirs this week, like I said. The one coming up is on Monday, and it's really going to be talking to homeowners as to why right now is a good time to list your home if you're going to be doing anything. So that's what the report's going to be coming up this week. And so you go to reportsonhousing.com and click on subscribe, and there are plenty of sample reports and an FAQ section. It comes on every 2 weeks. My wife just brought me the beer. Thank you, my love. Every 2 weeks this thing comes out. So when you sign up, you're going to get 26 reports. There's actually 2 months where you get 3 reports. And at the bottom of every report, I email these out. It has a whole bunch of different links, and these links have, so you can print it out, you can copy, cut, edit, paste, make it a part of newsletters, that type of thing. They're excerpt for social media and internet, and we have lots of charts that we're updating. And this is really, it's different than any of the other kind of reports that you get that have a lot of data and stats and that type of stuff, because that really ultimately is only going to appeal to a certain segment, certain audience. I write the reports in layman's terms, kind of like how I talk today, so that everybody can read it and understand what's going on in the housing report. You don't have to be an economics major to understand it. So it's $15 per month or $150 per year. And you pick your county, you get a month free if you use the coupon code homeowner, because that's what I'm focusing on right now, is the homeowner that is not listing their home right now. And so I would like to thank our sponsor, and our sponsor is Mariners Escrow. They describe why buyers and sellers ask for Mariners Escrow by name, and that is because they've been in the business for nearly 40 years, providing concierge escrow services with competitive fees, and they actively protect their clients by regularly reviewing their cybersecurity protocol and carry the highest level of insurance coverages in the area. And then they have 7 professional escrow teams with expertise in residential, bulk sales, commercial, 1031 tax exchange, REO, investment properties, refinance, and short sales. Basically, they do it all. And then they're regarded as the #1 independent escrow company in the area for professional standards, professional standards, principles and ethics. And then their fee schedule is on a sliding scale. The higher the purchase price, the lower the fee. So contact them for a quote to compare. And Mariners Escrow understands the necessity of providing your clients with superior professionalism. They partner with you as an extension of your brand and image. Call for a quote. Their phone number is 949-640-6040. That's 949-640-6040. And you can also reach them at info@marinersescrow.com. That's info@marinersescrow.com. Thank you for your sponsorship. And now ready for some spring fun photos. Are we, Athena?
Yes.
I have an audience of 1 right now. She is all of you out there. So here are the fun stuff. Fun fact: if you tell my wife she can't leave the house for months at a time, this happens almost every day. I think that's great. Hey, we need to consume. I'm an economics guy, and we need to consume because it's a big piece of GDP. 69%. Turns out the flux capacitor explodes when you set the date for 2020. She's looking at me like, huh? That's from Back to the Future, the movie. What a confusing time to be a pirate. To get it? X marks the spot. Yes, a nice cup of 2020. Ow! I poked myself in the eyes. That's a dangerous cup.
Yeah, that is.
Holy crap, the song is true. He really does have a farm. McDonald's farm. Old McDonald had a... She's killing me over here. I have to explain every one to her. Man, I miss paying $72 for a large popcorn and a drink at the movies. Whew. I didn't know where to stick this, but this is a great stat. Californians love their wines. Look at this. Wine consumption in the U.S. in 2018 by state. I guess they need to update this for 2019. But California, that's in thousands of gallons. Look at that. We consume a lot of wine in California. I mean, Florida's half of what we do. Holy smokes. We're in a great state. The Southern California housing market. Let's get right to it. The spring housing market. See you, Athena.
Bye.
Fun's over. Got to get right into it now. All right. We're in a spring market. We have left off right from March 8th, and we're continuing to zoom forward. And this is the inventory over time. And I'm going to show you where we're at right now. This is where we're at right now as of yesterday, actually, Thursday. And if I draw a line across, you're going to say, well, there were other times where we were this low. These little divots are typically at the start of the year where we have the lowest amount of inventory. We started off this year over here, same thing. We had a very low amount of inventory. However, if you look at this time of the year in June, these are different dates in June, and this was the level in 2019. 18 was right here, 2017, 2016, 2015, 2014. 2013 was down here. So you could see only in 2013 was there less inventory than where we are at today. So the inventory level for June of any year is at its lowest level since 2013. That's how low it is. I just wanted to show you this so you could see that is really what the issue is today. We really absolutely do not have enough homes on the market right now. And we typically have accumulated it prior, but the accumulation stopped because we had 50% less homes coming on the market, and then we continue to have fewer homes coming on the market compared to the past 5-year average. So this is our active listing inventory. This is where we're at. We're actually headed the wrong direction. Yesterday we were at 29,858. It was down 4% in 2 weeks. Last year we were at 43,842. It's actually we were here and now it's even wider. It's 47% difference, 47% more homes on the market last year. And then like I said, the last time we had this low of homes was May of 2013. In 2007, we had 115,000 homes in the market. So you can see the difference between where we are now versus where we were in 2007. It's weird. In 2007 it is a totally different marketplace that prior to the Great Recession and during the Great Recession. So you have to understand that. One of the reasons I said you cannot compare the housing market of today to prior to the Great Recession, it's not going to behave the same way. And if I look at the number of for sale signs that were placed into the dirt over the last 4-week period from yesterday and compare it to the 5-year average, we're actually down 24%. So it hasn't changed. It was 23%. I reported that on from last week. It's 20 right. It'll be 24% right now. When I do it on Tuesday, and I'll crunch the numbers to make these more refined because this number actually gets more refined. It might go down a little bit, but there's still far fewer homes coming on the market than what we originally have. And that's a lot of homes when you're talking about 24% of all Southern California. That is a lot of fewer for sale signs planted in the dirt on a monthly basis. And this has been continuing, and that's why we have a real issue in inventory right now. Before, we didn't have enough demand eating it up, but now we have the demand, but we still have not enough homes even coming on the market. And I'm not going to drill down as much. I'm only going to do it for expected market time, but I'm not going to drill down by county right now because I've been doing it for so long, and that was to alleviate everybody's fears about what was going on in the housing market, because I knew that it wasn't going to be like the Great Recession. It was going to be different. We were going to carve our own path. And as a matter of fact, we carved our own path and came back a lot faster than I originally had thought. So to see what's going on in the individual counties, you're going to have to subscribe to the report. And by the way, if you want a copy of this presentation, feel free to let me know. You have to be a subscriber to the report as well. We will email you a copy of this presentation. I've had a lot of requests for that so that people could get it to their buyers and sellers and people that are on the fence or need explaining further. So it's not changing, and that's an issue, and that's why I am here to beat on a drum, and that drum is to get homeowners to place their homes on the market. And COVID-19 is absolutely still suppressing supply. You look at, so we do have a supply problem, and that's what's going on right now. So the Southern California housing demand, that's a totally different story. It is extremely strong. I've talked about the fundamentals. The fundamentals of this housing market, the housing stock, are way different than prior to the Great Recession. You can't compare the two. I've talked about it over and over again in so many episodes. I'm not going to do it again. Just trust me in saying that the housing stock is extremely strong. housing was one of the strongest, that was one of the strongest aspects of the economy prior to COVID-19. And it's one of the reasons that it came out first, and it is still the strongest piece area of the economy. It's what happens when interest rates are low. It really does fuel a lot. So we did have a demand problem. COVID-19 hit, and we definitely had inherent demand. Everything slowed down, came to a crawl. People weren't going to go see your house. They were afraid of getting COVID-19 if they even went into somebody else's house. But that demand problem is gone. Absolutely gone. We've adapted. The real estate industry has adapted. They all wear gloves. They wear masks. They have the proper forms. They are doing everything that is thrown at them to do, and they have all the proper contracts and everything else that they need to utilize to properly safeguard everybody. And everybody has adapted. And so as an industry, as you can see, masks, gloves, social distancing, all the different protocols, COVID-19 is no longer suppressing demand, period. It's not at all. It's not even one iota. So understand that demand is burning rubber right now. If you look at this, this is beyond the V-shaped recovery. This is the last 30 days worth of pending sales velocity, and I'm here to show you this. This is higher than where we were on March 9th. So when you draw a line across, we're actually headed up, and that's where we should have been. So this is missing. So it's gonna be interesting to see how long this spike in demand continues because of this delay, because there was some pent-up demand. People were saying there's pent-up homeowners coming on the market. I'm just not seeing it. And the reason why there's pent-up demand is because interest rates are so low. And this is where we are right now. Yesterday, 18,162. That's up 17% in 2 weeks. The numbers are going to get smaller because the numbers were already high. But when you're going down here, it was like up 39%, up 21%, 24%. Now it's up 17%. But you can see we're probably not going to be screaming much higher over the next couple of weeks. We need more inventory to come on for that to happen. So I anticipate this is going to flatten out a little bit now. But still, look at how high we are. We're approaching 2017 demand levels. And the inventory, remember, is far less than 2017 inventory levels. So that means that the overall feel of the market is hotter than 2017, even though we're a little bit less than 2017's demand. We're very close to it though, but a lot less opportunities, homes on the market. Last year, we were at 16,912. That was actually 7% less than where we are today. That's the orange line. So you can see we surpassed 2019 and 2018's levels in demand. So demand is stronger than than the last couple of years. April 16th, we were at 8,252. That was down here. Do you see that? From here to here, that's 55% fewer homes. Demand, 55% fewer pending sales. It was more than half off. And now look at where we're at. So you can see that is the recovery. It has definitely recovered. It's the highest level since June of 2017. That's what we're looking at, that June of 2017. And March 5th, we were at 16,785. That was that number over here. That was the last time we were this high. And you could see, this is where we are right here. So we are definitely higher than 16,785. We're at 18,162. So that was 8% less than where we are today. So back in March, we're better off than where we were prior to COVID-19 lockdown. And it's absolutely a V-shaped recovery as far as demand is concerned. And it has just absolutely taken off. So demand has taken off, and the expected market time as a result has dipped to really, really low levels that we haven't seen in a very, very long time as far as the overall feel for the housing market. And this is my own, I have my own problem, and that is I don't want to see mass appreciation. So there aren't that many people calling for appreciation right now, but when I see these numbers, I know what's going on out there. I'm not dumb to the fact that you guys are placing these homes on the market at $750,000 along the coast, or at $400,000 in the Inland Empire, and they're flying off the market with multiple offers, and you pit them against each other, and the highest bidder wins, so that we're starting to get record levels again. So that's the recipe for appreciation. And that's what happens when you get the expected market time that drops as low as it is right now. Because we dropped below that 60-day threshold. That's where it's a hot seller's market. I didn't even think we were going to get there for all Southern California counties, but stay tuned. And between below 90 is a slight seller's market, and then between here is balanced. So we were playing in balanced. Above here is a slight buyer's market, and up here is a deep buyer's market, and it has to stay up here. It has to be way up here. Haven't been there for a very long time. The last time we saw something that was even close to that was back right when interest rates reached 5%. That was this green line. Interest rates got higher and higher and higher, and that's where we hit here. They were at 5%, and then they started to drop, and then we had the expected market time drop as a result of interest rates falling. And now we just have these record low interest rates. So yesterday we were at a 49-day expected market time. That is sizzling hot. It is well below 60 days. SoCal on April 16th was at 109 days. That's all the way up here. That is much different than today. SoCal last year was at 78 days. That is the orange line. Way different of a market than what we're experiencing right now today. The last time we had a market this hot during the month of June was June of 2013. One of the hottest markets that I can even remember. That was June of 2013. So I'm sitting, I know what's going on. It is busy. It is busy. Uh-oh, I hear something. I hear something. What is it? What is it? Come here, Lippy boy. We're in the middle of a broadcast and somebody wants to interrupt it.
Oh, I should have brought my
Oh my
phone
gosh,
to
even
take
Nana's
a
here.
picture.
We brought everybody. See, everybody's here. Say hi. Say hi to the masses. You have to say it really loud. Say hello. Thank you for joining us.
So professional.
I have. Yeah, you like the shorts, Nana?
I gotta get my phone and take a picture.
So, yes, this is how we do it. I right now have a big audience because Nana's here to pick up one of the kids. We have one less child. She's been doing it. This will be the third in a row. Where was I? 78-day expected market time last year, way slower than last, way faster, hotter than last year. So LA County, this is where I am going to talk about different counties because it's very important to know where we're at right now. 59-day expected market time for Los Angeles County. It's down 10 days in the last 2 weeks. 59 days makes it a hot seller's market. Remember, anything below 60. Orange County shed 15 days and got underneath that 60-day mark. They're at 59 days as well. So they're very, very hot. They're getting hotter and hotter. So they were at a slight seller's market, so is LA. But they've joined the hot gang. And the hot gang is Riverside County at 44-day expected market time. They've shed 11 days in the last 2 weeks. San Bernardino's at 39 days. They're the hottest in Southern California. They even surpassed San Diego, which held that title for years. But now San Bernardino all of a sudden is on fire. So 39-day expected market time, shed 11 days in the last couple weeks. And San Diego's at a 42-day expected market time. That is shedding 7 days in the last 2 weeks. And what do I mean by expected market time? It's not days on market. I got to do this like this one. It's not days on market. The reason it's not days on market is because it is a true reflection of what's going on in the marketplace. Days on market it changes based upon the number of homes coming on the market and that are going off the market. Averages change. I don't like it. I like taking a look at the active inventory, the true supply, and do a division and utilize the velocity of the market, pending sales, and from that we're able to come up with a metric that actually tells you the real speed of the marketplace. Average days on market, median, whatever you want to do, will not tell you what's going on in the marketplace. Nothing like expected market time, which is why I came up with this when I represented buyers and sellers way back in the day. So once upon a time. 42-day expected market time for San Diego that shed in that week. That is hot markets out there. And not a buyer's market. It's not at all a buyer's market. I don't care what's going on out there with people saying that they think it should be. It's not a balanced market. It's not even a slight seller's market. This was my slide for slight seller's market. She has a line again, not too long. It's longer, that line. It is a hot seller's market, all 5 counties. All of them. Yeah, I'm doing my own sound effects now. And when it's a hot seller's market, especially so below $1 million in San Diego, Orange County and Los Angeles, and then in San Bernardino Riverside below 650, hot. It means that things, if they're priced right, have to be priced right, in good condition, have some nice bells and whistles, look nice, those will fly off the market. They will. They'll fly off the market with multiple offers that are generated, and you pit the offers against each other, and the winning offer is the one that wins. That's what's going on out there. I'm not the one that's making this stuff up. I know what's going on by looking at my numbers, and then I talk to agents, and they say, yeah, that's what's going on, and there's not enough homes on the market for buyers to see right now. So where are all the sellers? What is going on? Where are they? Hello? This should actually be a little arrow thing going to me. Where are all the sellers? This is what is just, I'm wondering why COVID-19 has such an impact. And I saw somebody say it's because maybe they're waiting for prices to come up. That's not what it is. They're not waiting for prices to come up and then they'll place their home on the market. Now is the time to come on the market because our spring got delayed. We're almost to summer. This is actually technically what I refer to as the summer market because my kids are officially on summer vacation. So when they're on summer vacation, it is summer. And summer only goes through about August, third week of August. That's summer. And then we go into fall. We start the fall market as soon as the kids go back to school because it's no longer the best time to place your home on the market. So right now is a pretty good time to place your home on the market. And then you have a couple months to adjust. I think that we kicked the spring market down a little bit so we have a little bit more extra time to navigate because we're not moving around as much. We have more time on our hands. So I'm thinking that we'll have probably through the end of July for a really good market, but then it's really going to slow down quite a bit as the kids get prepared to go back to school. So I understand. I needed to let every homeowner know. Attention homeowners, please listen. The time is right now. Right now. Did I say now? I meant now. Because usually I tell everybody the best time of the market best time to place your home on the market is actually from Super Bowl till mid-May. Well, that got canceled because of COVID-19, but now we've reopened everything and everything's hot again, so it's right now. It was actually about 2 weeks ago, right to now, and I'm thinking that it will be good through July. But that means you better be priced right. For those people that are thinking about placing their home on in July, you don't have a lot of runway to adjust. So you've got to be priced right in the month of July. Time is right now. Right now. The alarm's gone off. This bearded guy said, it's right now. So, but it's a recession. Shouldn't prices drop? You know what? It's a pandestion. Pandestion. I made up that term. Why do I call it pandestion? Because there wasn't one area. It's an international pandestion. There were parts of the world that were slow, but it wasn't the United States. And it wasn't one part of our economy that brought us down. It was force shutting the entire economy. That is called a pandemic that forced us to shut down our economy, called a pandestion. We do have a recession, and the second quarter is going to look ugly. I've seen reports where they said it could be as low as down 40% GDP, which is just awful. But we've saved countless lives by doing that. So for all those buyers that are hoping for it to be a buyer's market where values come down 10, 20, 30%, that's just not in the cards. It's not happening. I know it's frustrating being a buyer. I totally get it. It is so frustrating being a buyer because when there are 5 offers or 10 offers generated on a property. I remember back in December, it was December 26th, the day after Christmas, an agent placed their home on the market. She received 29 offers. It was in the city of Cyprus, detached, $650,000. She received 29 offers. I knew we were in for a very hot 2020. I didn't know anything about COVID-19, but it's back. We have a hot market again. And it's definitely in the driver's seat is low interest rate. It is driving everything. It is the one biggest benefit of these low rates. So everything can go to hell in a handbasket, but low interest rates just keeps on pumping real estate, and they're driving lower, which means things are even more affordable. Low mortgage rate environment, you could see right here, it was 3.21, so we were at 3.15, then 3.18, now we're at 3.21, pretty much the same. And I have seen some recent reports where I've seen interest rates going down to 3%. So these are done through this week, and the survey is taken, and you can see this says as of June 11th. But they computate all the numbers and all that good stuff, and we're going to find out that the interest rates, this is the weekly average mortgage rates, it'll come out next Thursday, is going to probably be very, very close to 3% and probably set a new record. That is what I'm anticipating. And that is the fuel that is just propelling us upward. That is what is going on out there. So you have to understand, it's because everybody understands how great these interest rates are. They were horrific in November of 2018 at 5%. They were even worse prior to the Great Recession at 6.35%, or in 2000 at 8%, or in 1990 at 10%. I could go on, so it's been coming down since 1981, where they were at 18%. So you can see the low interest rate environment is where we're at. People say, when are interest rates going to go up? Not anytime soon. Short-term rates, you heard the Federal Reserve say they're going to be keeping it flat for years. They said probably for the next couple of years. So that is pretty much saying they're going to keep things as is. But long-term rates follow 10-year Treasury, and it has a lot to do with any negative stuff keeps the 10-year Treasury where it's at right now, below 1. And then you saw what happened in the stock market. It fell like crazy. So 10-year was going up, and then it came down. I think today was a decent day, so I'm sure it's back up again today. But I think there's going to be enough news out there where it's going to keep it pretty much below 1 for a little more time. And I want everybody to understand where this demand's coming from. This is the U.S. population by age bracket, and this is complements of calculatorriskblogs.com. And you have to understand where this patch is coming from. This demographic patch, this is all different age brackets and the U.S. population. So you could see where it's coming are these people in the 30s and even in the 20s. There's a gigantic wave that is starting right now. It was low before. These people right here around 40, 42, and it's gradually been getting more and more and more and more. So the demographics show that more and more people are coming online as far as purchasing, and I think that that's right around that age of 30. You can see more and more coming online. So the demographic is very favorable to increasing demand even further besides the low rates. And if you see this, birth statistics, these are the baby boomers. And you could see there was kind of a lull back in right around where I was born and my wife, 60s and 70s. And you could see that once we get over here in 1990, that things looked a lot better. And even in 2007, there's great demographics to come that is going to continue to feed demand for quite some time. We were working through this patch, and that was where I'm from, weren't as many babies born during that time period. So, interesting stuff, huh? Market overview. I'm here to talk about the luxury in LA above 1.5 million plus. Expect a market time of 150 days. And that is, as of, it says today, it's really yesterday, but expect a market time April 30th was at 509 days. Expect a market time March 5th was 155 days. LA, their luxury market's back online. This is another aspect of the housing that I didn't think was going to recover, but we saw a lot of recovery in the S&P, Dow, and that type of thing. And when we see the recovery in Wall Street, it manifests itself in luxury demand as well. And now we're back online as far as the expected market time for luxury in Los Angeles. In Orange County, 135 days. It was at 322, 121 days back on March 5th. So not quite totally online, but almost there as far as luxury in Orange County is concerned. Luxury in Riverside, 650,000 plus. Because they have that lower bracket, they are so hot. 110 days, 453, 166. Here to tell you that luxury in Riverside County, on fire. And San Bernardino County at 114 days versus 284 on April 23rd. That was their low point. 125 on March 5th. You could see, better also. San Diego County, 124 days. They were at 316 days. and they were at 118 on March 5th. So you can see very, very close to that number. It's like Orange County, very, very close. No cigar yet, almost. So it's almost totally come back online. This is the area of the housing that has actually surprised me. And it came back a lot faster than I had originally anticipated. I thought the Dow and all S&P and all that stuff was going to remain flat and lower for a while, but a lot of those are the kind of surprises that are out there. Does that mean the economy's back? By no stretch of the imagination. We're still dealing with COVID-19, and I'm going to show you a few slides that I can show you where things are at, and I'm also going to show you hospitalizations here in Southern California. Thought that was an interesting stat that I was able to find. But if you look at this, there are 7.6 million just about cases around the world. And this is the world. Right now, we're actually adding more per day than we ever have before. This is the average 7-day moving. It's the 7-day moving average. It's actually hit a high point as of yesterday. 147,000 cases were added. That's the 7-day moving average for the last week. So 147,000 per day. And you can see this is the United States at 2. We just hit that 2 million mark. We did that on Tuesday. I was telling my wife, I think we're going to hit it on Tuesday, and that's when we hit it. And she was surprised that I had hit it, but I was just utilizing the statistics and math based upon the daily amounts. And you can see where LA is. Cook County is at 84,000. LA is at almost 69,000. And the gap is narrowing. And I think LA is probably going to surpass Cook unless LA's numbers start to go down, which we're not seeing. So LA is the number 3 most impacted county in the United States. And this is the United States. You could see everything was looking good, and we were looking like we were going down, and now it's actually gone up a little bit. And this number is not going down, and they're thinking it's due to 2 things: unlocking the society and people not wearing masks as prevalently as other countries that have beaten this curve, and their curve has come way down. We're adding 21,500 cases on average for the last week, and that's where it's kind of holding. You can see that's where it's been holding for a while. And then I'm talking about testing. Testing, we're right at that 5% mark. We want to see this get below 3%. The only way to do that is by testing more. It's like we've almost given up on testing. We saw some really good numbers here, and it's no longer the news that is pushing people to do more testing. I think we really need to see this. So and you're asking me, Stephen, why do you care so much about COVID-19? Because it has everything to do with the economy and future problems with the economy. So that's why we're tracking this. That's why Calculated Risk, which it was a blog that was devoted to taking a look at various aspects of the economy, especially when we were in the midst of that last recession and there were a bunch of distress. That's where we used to go for a lot of different information. Now, he's taking a look at what's going on in COVID land because it definitely impacts the overall economy, as we have seen. So this is the United States. These are the deaths per day. We're averaging. I made a mistake. The reason why we're putting this up here is because I made a mistake on Tuesday. It is 803 is the average per day right now, and that's the 7-day moving average of deaths in the United States. So that is the 7-day average is 803 per day. Germany is a gold standard, and I've talked about them before. This is deaths. They have had 20. If you adjust it to match our population, they'd be at 80. We have 10 times more than that. And then South Korea, also the gold standard, they have 1. 1 death is what they averaged for last week. They all wear masks. It's not a political thing at all. As a matter of fact, if you don't have a mask, you are shunned. So that's why they have 1. And they have great contact tracing, and if there's anything that burps up, everybody and their brother is tested, and then they all are locked down for a couple weeks, and that's what's going on, which is why they're able to beat this curve. And then Italy, remember how bad Italy was? They're averaging 68 deaths per day. That's over the last 7-day average, 68 per day. If you adjust for population, for the United States population, that's the 374. So a lot less than what we're dealing with right now, and a lot of it has to do with the masks that they're wearing in Italy. In Spain, They were also a big problem. Remember, they were giants. They were actually had a death rate that was one of the worst. And they right now are averaging 1 death for the last week. And if you adjust for population, it would be 7. That is a lot fewer than where we are at over 850. So California, you can see this is the number of cases, and we're at 3,029 cases is what we're averaging per day right now. That's for the last week. That's what this new average is for over last week. The reason why this average is going up is because we're adding so much more that when you take that average over a 7-day period, that it keeps on climbing. And right now it's 3,000 per day that we're adding. And there's a total of 144,000 cases now in California. And these are deaths in California. We're averaging 86 for the last week. And that's where it's kind of holding. You can see we were at a high of this is, I don't know, 70s or something like that. So this is new COVID daily deaths. California county cases, 69,000 in Los Angeles. They're number 1. 10,200 in Riverside County, they're number 2. And then 9,000 in San Diego, number 3. 8,150, number 4, OC. And 7,000 in San Bernardino, number 5. Now I want to show you this. Stumbled upon it, had to look hard because there's not a lot of facts surrounding hospitalizations and what everybody's concerned about: ventilators, hospital capacity, and ventilators. So I'm going to blow this up. This is all California counties, and they do this across the United States, the site that I was able to find. And when I blow this up, you can see this is the capacity of ventilators that is left remaining. There's still 88% available of the capacity of ventilators remaining. That's huge. You have to understand that. That's a lot. There's 312 on a ventilator right now. And these are hospital beds. So LA County has a few in the hospital beds and quite a few on ventilators, but they have a lot of ventilators remaining. And if you look down here, we live in a great area. We live in a great area with a lot of great hospitals and health, so that we have the capacity. There are some other counties in California that are in the red, one of them being like Mono County. There's a few of these counties that just don't have enough hospital beds, so it just takes a few instances and boom, your hospital capacity is down to they only have a third left. They're down to 33% capacity of ventilators in these really small counties. So those are the areas, the small areas across the United States that we have to be concerned with because they won't have the ventilator capacity. But we can share, right? So we can figure this all out. So there has to be some really good teamwork done behind the scenes to make sure that we don't have deaths because of lack of ventilators when there's so many ventilators available in areas that are impacted like Southern California, right? So as far as unlocking the world and us, the United States, coronavirus lockdowns, I want everybody to know this. This was a study done by the Imperial College of London. They estimate that 3 million lives were saved by the lockdown of all of Europe. So that's pretty huge. It's like we learned from the Spanish flu, we took it really seriously, and we saved a lot of lives. And I'm sure when studies come out of us doing that in the United States, the same thing. It's just being mindful going forward. I want everybody to wear their masks. I should have brought mine up here too. This is what I wear around town. I have 2. If I want to be inconspicuous, I have one that's just tan. If I want to stand out like a billboard, that's what I wear. But I'm always wearing these masks. And why are we wearing these masks? It's because we don't want somebody else to get it. And if somebody else has it, they don't want to give it to us. It's something that we all do because we don't know when we've got it. We're incubating for 2 weeks before we even have any symptoms. So I'm very concerned about this. And it's only because I'm looking at what these other societies are doing and what their numbers look like way better. And I can't believe it. Remember when everybody was having a problem with click it or ticket and we had to wear our seatbelts? There were countless, I haven't even done the research on this. I can't wait to do more research on this. How many lives have we saved by wearing a seatbelt? And remember all the people that said, well, you can't tell me to put on my seatbelt. Well, yes, we can. And it's one of those things where, gosh darn it, if we all just wore our masks, we'd be able to cut this thing down so that we wouldn't have as many cases that are continuing to explode, just if everybody wore them. Remember there was that one hair salon, I don't know where it was, someplace in the US, where 2 people had COVID-19 and there was 119 people or something like that that could have been affected. Guess how many people got it? 0. Do you want to know why? They were all wearing masks. So that's huge. So off my soapbox, why do I care so much? Because I don't want a second wave. I just don't. I don't like the fact that we're plateauing, and then now they're talking about waiting until it'll be continue to plateau until we get to the winter, and then it'll go up or fall. I don't want that to happen. I want to beat the second wave so it's not super bad, so that we all go back to consuming and shopping and not worrying about COVID-19 and talking about it all the time, because that will impact our GDP, which will impact jobs, which will impact everything. So that's why I care so much about COVID-19. We need to play our cards right. Wear a mask. Macroeconomic outlook, the data and statistics is what proves it out. That's why I'm passionate about it, like I'm passionate about housing. Macro charts before coronavirus looked absolutely stunning. Matter of fact, the pandemic brought to an end the longest expansion in U.S. history, 128 months of an expansion. That was huge. And then the one right before that, that was March 1991 to March 2001, that was the second longest one. So I imagine when we come out of this, we're going to go into our next longest expansion. I can't wait. And that's coming down the road. Macro charts, AD, well, this is after the disease. So we talked about before coronavirus, after the disease. Thank you, Logan Motashami, for your wonderful acronyms. Jobless claims gradually decline, but 20 plus million still out of work. So these are the initial jobless claims. There's still 20.9 people that are continuing to be out of work. So that is a lot, a huge segment of the population that has continued to be unemployed. A lot of them are furloughed. It's a matter of, at the end of July, what's going to happen? How many of these people are going to go back to work? That's what we're going to have to see. And if you put this all in perspective, and this is initial claims for unemployment, we've never seen anything like that. So even at this, where we're at it's like 1.7 million. Even at 1.7 million, we've never been here before. And that was just the last week, and that was the best week. So you have to understand, still a lot of initial jobless claims. And how many of those 1.7 were because of layoffs of companies that were going under that won't come back. So we're going to have to continue to watch this story and how it unfolds. And I know a lot of people are very concerned as far as how does that affect real estate. And yes, will that affect real estate? Yes, but it's also offset by how low mortgage rates are. This is Federal Reserve. They've been talking about the GDP. They talked about it this week. This is what they were saying. This is also thank you to calculated risk. So this is what their prognostications were for back in December of 2019 for where our GDP would be for the year 2020. Now, they redid everything, and now they think for the year we're going to be down 7.6 to down 5.5%. That's how much they think it's going to be down as far as the GDP. GDP is going to look a lot better in 2021 because it's coming off of a not so great year of 2020, and then 2022 still really strong also because it's like it's slowly but surely revving up. So, and that's what we refer to as this dial, that it'll be slow moving dimmer switch, that it will slowly change. Unemployment, where do they see it? They see it in 2020. Now the projection for 2020 is 9 to 10% unemployment. That's huge. And in 2021, 5.9 to 7.5% unemployment. And in 2022 is where it starts getting better, 4.8 to 6.1. Remember where we were before. They were talking 3.5 to 3.7. That's nothing. Historically low unemployment rates, and it's going to take us a while to get there. And if it goes as planned at 4.8, then 2023 could be that year where we start seeing things looking good as far as unemployment is concerned historically. And then this is inflation. So a lot of people are worried about inflation. This is what the Federal Reserve thinks about inflation. Even afterwards, now they think inflation for this year is going to be even way down because people are having a hard time selling their goods. But then it will float back up to 1.4 to 1.7 and then get to 1.6 to 1.8. So inflation will be in check. And I know all those people are saying they're printing money. Won't that affect inflation? The short answer to that is no. And yes, it's going to be a dimmer switch where it'll be a long slog before things come back online. So just understand it's going to be the slow process. It's not going to be like that V-shaped recovery that we saw in housing. And so you go to Reports on Housing, you click on subscribe, you get a month free if you sign up using the coupon code HOMEOWNER, and there are FAQ and sample reports section. And Mariners Escrow, I want to thank them for being my sponsor. They've been around for 40 years providing concierge escrow services with competitive fees, and they actively protect their clients by regularly reviewing their cybersecurity protocol and carry the highest level of insurance coverage in the area. They have 7 professional escrow teams that do it all. And they're regarded as #1 independent escrow company in the area for professional standards, principles, and ethics, and their fee schedule's on a sliding scale, so if higher purchase price, they will slide it down. So call them, contact them to get a quote. And you can contact them because they want to partner with you. They want to partner with you and be an extension of your brand and image. Call them for a quote, 949-640-6040. That's 949-640-6040, info@marinersescrow.com. Now it's time for some cocktail Q&A. So I don't know about you. That was a long one. Phew. Telling you, I think my watch stopped. So anyways, I want to crack open my Modelo. It's my standard Modelo. So going right in here into my cooler. I'm gonna get my Modelo. This has been a Modelo commercial for since the start of this. Can't go wrong with a beautiful Negro Modelo. My next sponsor of the housing debrief, Negro Modelo. It goes down smooth. How does printing money not affect inflation? Gosh, that's a great question, but it's one that that we've been doing that for a long time. We have been talking about the fact that we've been printing money and it's going to cause inflation for a very, very long time, and it hasn't manifested itself out. It's almost like both sides of the aisle use this as a ploy to get us to worry about the fact that they're printing money. And I mean, you can't do it at an alarming rate, but they realize that it has not had an effect on inflation. So it's what we've been taught and told by both sides of the aisle, that if you print too much money, if you print too much, and they use it for various policies, that we're going to have mass inflation, we can't do it. And it's pervaded to the point that everybody in the economy talks about, yeah, you do it, and it's all of a sudden going to cause a lot of inflation. And thank you, Rob. Yes, calculatedriskblog.com. It is wonderful. Let's see, great stats for COVID. What is called Calculated Risk? That's just a wonderful website. I was wondering how long it will take for people to realize you can use face masks as billboards to promote yourself.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean so that it's not showing background?
Oh, yeah, if it's like this instead of that.
I mean, I guess I can move my seat this way. Oh, I just ended the live.
Oh. Just start again.
I wasn't that concerned, sorry.
Yeah, that's not my
No, I know, it's not your fault. I wasn't that concerned. I moved it like this. I'm sorry, my love. Thank you for helping. I'm back. I made a mistake. I accidentally hit the finish button when I was adjusting everything. So I apologize for going offline. If you have a question, go ahead and add it. I apologize. My wife came in and told me that I had it wrong, and I did. I don't know how I adjusted it, so I apologize to everybody out there. It was my bad. I have very, very large thumbs. They're pretty huge, if you see. They're pretty big. So go ahead and ask some questions. This is the after party. Cocktail Q&A. So let's see. Go ahead and ask questions. I am back online. I apologize.
Do you want me to pull up some of the other?
Yeah, if you could, that'd be great, producer, director. I got these hot flashes.
I didn't say you had them wrong. Where do we put this?
It just gives me the opportunity to drink my beer, Negro Modelo. We're slowly but surely coming. What is the market time for OC luxury? I did it in a thing. Let's see, where were we with OC Luxury? If I knew it off my top of my head, that would be amazing. But I'm like 51 years old, so my brain doesn't work that way. There it is. There we go. It is Orange County's at 135-day expected market time for above $1,250,000. What is the forecast for short sales and foreclosures? I talked about this before. It's a 2021 story because of forbearance, and they can do 6 months and they can do it in another 6 months. And a lot of these people have nested equity, which means that they'll be able to sell their house and not be a short sale or foreclosure. The only people that are most susceptible are the people that put down very little. That means less than 5% or 5% or less. And those are the people that purchased in the last 2 years. But now that I see home prices are probably on the rise, I'm going to say it's probably anybody that purchased in 2019 or at the beginning of 2020 that lost their job and now has to sell. Those are the people that are the most vulnerable. Go ahead.
If interest rates are the biggest, most important driver on housing demand, what is the biggest driver to increasing housing supply? What makes sellers sell?
Yeah, what makes sellers sell? So it's just that when people get excited about moving and making a move like we did, and we moved local, and there are people that move local, all these people that have been cooped up in their houses have realized what they want in a house. It might be a main floor office. It might be an extra bedroom to turn into an office. It might be a pool. It might be a bigger yard. It might be they're coming from a townhome and want a yard. That's what is going to fuel this thing. So I think that's more of it than anything else. It's wondering if it's the right time to place your home on the market and worried about, part of the problem is that there's not a lot of supply. So it's kind of like the one problem causes the other. So if you're going to place your home on the market and you're going to go move locally because you want something else, but there's not a lot of product that's out there, then you have to what? Make a double move. There's not a lot of housing to satiate that demand. So they're worried that they won't have something to purchase. And I've heard that quite a bit out there. So we just need more homeowners to move. And I've heard a lot of people say people will be moving out of state or doing different things, or there's going to be a wave of people that have that wanted to sell their house, that they've been waiting to sell their house because they were before. Well, those people have reanalyzed things, so I don't know if they're going to be coming on the market anytime soon. So they are, it's just one of those things where we're just going to have to see how it plays out. People said a lot of people that are unemployed, that they'll turn around and sell their house. I just don't know. We're just going to have to watch, wait, and see, because it's so far we haven't seen any spike in supply. What is the forecast for short sales? We did that one. Let's see. This is the after party to the after party. Anybody else have a question? All right, let's see. Can you explain the variables used for expected market time? Layman's terms, if of course. Cheers. I use active inventory. That's supply. And then I use demand. That's the last 30 days worth of pending sales. So if you look at that, I'll give you a simple example of, let's say that there are 100 homes on the market, and and 50 go into escrow within the last month. How long would it take you to satiate the total inventory of 100 homes on the market if 50 also went into escrow within the last month? So there's 100 on the market, 50 went into escrow within the last month. How long would it take? 2 months. It would take 2 months, because 50 and 50 would be 2 months. You'd have a 60-day expected market time. So you can see, when I'm talking that we have an expected market time of less than 60, and in some cases, like in San Bernardino County, where it's so low, it's so darned low that everything is churning so fast. It's only the amount of time, almost in some areas, of when you get these expected market times of less than 30, and we're getting some price ranges of less than 30. Those are the expected market time price ranges where it's just so hot that it's really the negotiations that are taking place, because that is keeping that number at 30 days. And there still are some homeowners that come on the market at dumb prices. There's plenty of homeowners that are unsuccessful in all price ranges, even in this marketplace right now. And the reason for that is because they don't know how to price their homes, and if they're going to try get a little bit more, because that's what everybody wants, more. And when they want more, they end up overpricing, and then they end up wasting market time because they don't successfully sell. So part of that mix of all those extra homes on the market are people that just are priced out of bounds. So let's see. Why is there times when it's best to buy, like the summer season? I've never heard why. Best time to buy during the summer season, Teresa, is because you want to close escrow. The best time to purchase actually is during the spring, and you close during the summertime. Why is that the best time? Because if you've got a big family, that's when you can most easily make a move. It's also when all the rest of the country is kind of like moving about too. It's no longer the winter, it's better weather, but it's also has a lot to do with with schooling. So you want to time it so that it doesn't impact the kids as much. And when's the best time to do that? Well, that happens between the months of May through the first couple weeks of August, because kids are going back to school. So you can cheat a little bit. It could be a little bit earlier, and it could be a little bit later, but by and large, people don't really want to close in October if they have a big family, because that would be very disruptive to kids. So that's why you get the seasonality effect. And then another time where we actually see a little bit of a spike in closed sales is the month of December. A lot of people say, I had the best month of December. Well, you're not alone. A lot of people do. And the reason for that is because that's like the halfway point in school, where if you needed to make a move, you could do it in between semesters. So that's the other reason why December is so awesome, or a good time of the year. Let's see, do we have others? Let's see, can you explain? We did that one. What is the forecast? We did that one. Let's see. Any other questions that are out there? Okay. Do you think that property tax portability will spur the seniors to sell? Not that much. We're talking, I think you might be talking about new proposition that they tried to do before, and they're going to try to do again. I just don't think it's going to be, it will. What I think that question is, do you think property tax portability will spur the seniors to sell? You have Prop 6090, and what they're talking about is being able to sell your house more than once, because you're able to do it once over 55. You're able to take your tax base with you anywhere. And now what they're talking about is taking your tax base anywhere and doing it over and over again. And also being able to take your tax base and purchase higher than because you're supposed to do an equal or lesser than value. Now you can do higher. You're just going to be taking your tax base with you, and then when you purchase a property that's higher, that difference between what you sold at and what you purchased at, you have to pay the higher tax rate for that portion. But for everything below the level that you sold at, you pay that really low rate. You're able to take your low tax rate with you. That will incentivize some people to do it, but it's not going to be any kind of a wave, because there's a lot of seniors that are just happy with where they're at. It's one of those things where they love where they live. The longer they live there, and the more that they don't want to move. Where a lot of people say, this is the house I'm going to die in. That's what so many people say, and they're serious about that. So I don't think it's going to be any big change. Cheerio, thank you. How do you think the new surge in COVID cases will affect our market? You have to see where the surges are. And I wanted to show the hospitalization capacity as well as the ventilator capacity to show you that we have a lot more room. We have that kind of room. I just want it not to get out of hand, where the point where we see more people get it because we're lazy about it, and more people die, A, and B, we don't want to see any kind of spike come in the fall and winter time, when it's the worst season for this kind of a virus. So I just want to be mindful. That's why I want everybody to wear their masks. So I don't think there's going to be there's this new surge that they're talking about. we'll just have to wait and see how the numbers play out, see what happens with deaths and things like that. Because part of the numbers more positives, part of that is because we're actually testing more, so we're getting more positive tests. So you have to understand that's the other side of it. I want to see what's going on with hospitalizations more than anything else. Arizona is a state that's having an issue right now, and they have hospitalization capacity issues as well. So I haven't done all the research from that new site that I just found this morning. So I'd like to see what happens with other states and take a look at it. I've kind of played around with those before just to see what the models look like, to see what the impact is going to be. Do you think the rest of the year is going to be good business, you think? Yes, because I think the lockdown protocols are gone and we've learned how to work in this environment. So I think the rest of real estate land, as long as these interest rates remain low, and I don't see any reason why that they're going to be changing anytime soon. So I do think, Tyler, John Dagler, that yes, it's going to be remain pretty good, and it's going to be fueled by these incredible interest rates. And we could even get interest rates that drop even further. I said I don't think interest rates will drop below 3%. Because I said that live, that means there's a potential of it happening, because that's what happens when I say things. Lots of times the opposite. Overpricing is the agent's fault. Pat, you're hilarious. Yeah, totally. It is the agent's fault, overpricing. Sure. Yeah. It's the agent's fault that homeowners all come out, and you've got to talk them into, gosh, you know what? Well, we'll try your price, but we're only going to do it for a short period of time. But the problem is as we all know, is once that 2 weeks is up, that's that first initial 2 weeks of coming on the market, it loses its pizzazz. There's no longer anybody waiting for this home to come on the market. It's already come on the market. So now they're not sitting there waiting for that price to drop down to the level it should be. It's already lost its luxury. So you have to understand that you come out of the gate as priced as right on as you possibly can, so you avoid reducing your price. Because the most successful people are the people that don't have to reduce their price at all. That's funny, Pat. Haha, I have no kids. Maybe that's why I don't know. That's funny. It could be. Not sure what happened if you answered this, but if interest rates drive demand, what drives supply beyond death, divorce, financial distress? So, yeah. What drives supply is the young family that just got married, is having their first kid, and they're living in a condo or they're living in an apartment. Now they want their own house. That's typically what happens. A lot of people, a lot of millennials are skipping the condo level and going straight to the house because they have this dual income that they've been saving for such a long time. And a lot of them have money saved up in the banks, contrary to what people are saying. And they can go out and put down a down payment and go purchase their house. So those kind of people are what drives supply. What else drives supply is COVID-19 lockdown and realizing that you need another bedroom, or you need a bigger yard, or you want a view, or you don't have as much privacy, or. There's a lot of different reasons that people want to move. And you know what? I realized that life's too short, I want to live by the beach, or life's too short, I want to live by the lake, or I want to live in another state. I've heard it all. So there's a lot of different life circumstances that make that change, and that's what will affect supply. Right now, we know that COVID-19 is affecting supply, and a lot of them might not know that it's a really good time to sell because they've heard the contrary and all over the place. As far as buyers are concerned, all they have to do is see interest rates at 3%. They go, this is the time. These interest rates are so good, we have to do it. So that's what's fueling the demand side of the things. And I don't think the supply side has caught up to the idea that it's a good time to place your home on the market. And that's going to be the why I'm going to be writing the article coming up this week on why it's a good time to place your home on the market. So let's see, enjoying a beer with you. At a recently opened brewery, Prohibition Brewing Company, Vista, California, spreading the good, listing news with patrons. Go Prohibition Brewing Company, Vista. That's pretty awesome. Cheers. How big of an impact do you see reverse mortgages are playing in supply? I don't think that reverse mortgages are playing a big impact in supply. Gosh, you know what? Reverse mortgages are something that can help improve supply so that it allows people to sell their house and move to something else and utilize a reverse mortgage to do all that. I know reverse mortgage, Kevin, I can't remember his last name, but he's a really good reverse mortgage guy. There's a lot of reverse mortgage people that specialize in this arena that can show you why it's such a great benefit to use reverse mortgages, and you can actually utilize a reverse mortgage to purchase something. And you just get well versed on reverse mortgages. I don't think it's had a negative impact on supply because of reverse mortgages. There's not as many out there as I would like actually to see. Let's see. Any other questions? We will slow down in the fall, or will the market hold strong through the holidays? That's a good question. That's why you need to subscribe to my housing report, because those are such good questions. It's like looking into a crystal ball, and it gets fuzzy when you're dealing with something that we haven't dealt with before. There's so many moving factors in this. That's why I even came up with this housing debrief, because it was moving so fast that if I was doing it twice a week, had enough information where we're trying to parse through the noise and what is real and bringing that to everybody. And now still, as we see, every other week when I've been doing these reports, that it's been moving so fast that the market's just really changed. And now on a weekly basis, it really makes a difference. So to say what are we going to be like in the fall, it just depends upon how COVID-19 plays out and what happens with our psyche and what's going on with everything else. There's mass demonstrations still continuing. How will that play out? What will happen with COVID-19? There's so many moving factors. And then in China, are we going to have a trade war or trade tap dance where we further utilize levers and cause more issues down the road? I don't know. There's so many moving parts to this that we just need to continue to stay tuned. I imagine that if we get interest rates, that if there's more negative news and interest rates drop below 3% to, like, let's say 2.9% or something like that, anything that has a 2 in front of it across the nation is really going to help spur more demand. People are definitely going to take a second look as to what's going on. So we will slow down in the fall. Let's see. Overpricing is Zillow's fault. Actually, I did a report on Zillow many years ago, and they were off before. But as far as cookie cutter properties, they're pretty right on. They're actually within reason of where we are as real estate agents in kind of extrapolating out data. So they're actually not that bad, Zillow. They were before. And when they start getting up into the luxury price ranges and the stuff like that, they're starting to get better, but they still lack the ability to see what all the amenities are, to truly capture location, street noise, different things along those lines. So that's an interesting thing, is Zillow. They've actually gotten a lot better. Let's see. Any other questions? Yes, I think Kevin, yeah, that's right, Kevin Coldenbach, something like that. Yes, very close to that. Really, Coltonback for reverse mortgages, yes. Yes, that's who it is. Thank you, sir. All right, well, you know what? I biffed it by hitting end too early before. I'm going to hit end now. I want everybody to have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you on the other side. I want to thank my beautiful, wonderful producer and director, TJ Thomas, my wife, and all my children who are no longer here. And this special segment that was brought to you by Nana and so many different kids and even a dog. It was so much fun. Thank you for being a part of this. Have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the weekend, and we will see you on the other side.